All right, Coach, if you want to start with an opening statement.
Disappointed, to be honest with you, confused. And one of the more inept performances of my 26 years. It's kind of a harsh statement. I'm blaming myself. I'm the one that has to have my team ready. Thought we practiced good. I didn't think we were ready from the opening second. There were some things we didn't cover, plays that we had worked on for 3 days, and I feel sorry for DJ, the hell of a job on a scouting report. And I don't know, I guess that's what happens when I don't think anybody's reading their press clippings, but I don't know. I mean, it was consistent too. My 3-4 best players all struggled. And you got to give them credit, though. I don't want to not give them credit because Chris did a hell of a job. I mean, they were better coached. They played harder. There was a sense of purpose. We had board behind me, there were 2 words on the keys. Never relax, play with a sense of urgency. I think most of you that have been around me for a lot of years would say that was neither one of them. Is that kind of the things we're going to have to go through here where you know, things happen and it's going to be some ups and downs maybe, but I didn't like the way we responded and that was disappointing. So I take the blame. I'm going to have to do something about it, but that was one of the most disappointing. Then it sounds like I'm not giving them credit. So I'm saying the way we played compared to the scouting report we had. Missing shots, that's okay. We took some bad shots. That's not okay, but I can live with that. But not guarding anybody, not rebound, fouling. I mean, 53%, 47% from the 3. That was ridiculous.
Our first question goes to Chris Solari.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned the sense of urgency and that. I mean, was there a point early on that you felt like you were settling maybe for some shots outside and not attacking as much?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. But the sense of urgency happened in the first 20 seconds when we were on defense. Just had some guys that messed up some coverages that we had gone over and over and over. And that means I didn't do a good enough job going over them because they were the simplest of things. And DJ and I are sitting there from second 1. So you want to look at the offense. I don't blame you. There were some bad shots. There was we weren't in attack mode. We're throwing up shots like we were afraid. That's what I was disappointed in. But it started the first 30 seconds. Not before that. Guys were good in the hotel, good in the locker room, but that was disgusting.
Did you feel like they were able, or were there any corrections that they were able to make throughout the course of the game on those defensive coverages?
I didn't think we did. I did not think we did, and that was disappointing too. I mean, I don't have a better kid than Josh Langford, but I mean, he goes out there at the end and we cut it to 10 and he got 4 fouls and he sticks his arm and fouls a guy 35 feet from the basket, you know? It was just that kind of deal. And Joey, Rocket, Josh, and Aaron, and they all struggled on some things, and I didn't do a good enough job either. So let's make sure that we throw me in that.
Next question will go to Matt Charbonneau.
Tom, when Josh comes out, first thing he tells us is that the team didn't come ready to play tonight. How disappointing is it to hear that? A guy from Josh will certainly know that, but you've already talked about it. But how disappointing is that hearing him say that?
Well, yeah, really, you know, that is my job. I mean, players got to get themselves ready, but a coach, you know, like I said, I've been a little softer myself this year, you know, and because you kind of deal with things and, you know, it's time to take the gloves off because now we got no school. We can go to work. Yeah, that's not good to hear, but that's the coach's fault. The coach got to get them ready to play. Coach got to have the scouting report in. They've got to make shots. That's not a problem. that wasn't the reason we lost the game. It helped, but we still came back a couple times that we just didn't guard anybody the way we had gone over it.
Just real quick too, I know Joey banged his knee there. He came back. I assume that's not a big deal at this point, maybe something minor.
I don't know. Be honest with you, I haven't talked to the trainer. I haven't talked to Joey. I didn't see a lot different performance at the beginning as I saw at the end. So maybe it's similar. Maybe there's nothing wrong. Maybe there's something wrong. It was sore at one point. Said he wanted to play, so we gave him a chance. I didn't see him worse. I didn't see him necessarily any better. It was just one of those nights.
Next question will go to Kyle Austin.
Tom, you mentioned that first possession on defense. Wondering if it was mostly mental mistakes you saw tonight as the game went on, or were there effort-related issues? What was going on defense?
I thought it was physical. I thought it was effort-related. I thought it was, it just didn't seem like we were in sync at all. It just seemed like we were 3 steps behind. As you guys said, we weren't penetrating our fast break. Instead of coming on these diagonals that we do, we just kind of head right up and took some bad shots there. Rocket has been improving so much, and it was kind of a setback for everybody, the 4 key players and the coach. So we'll all take some blame for it. And, that's all I can do. I got to watch the film, but I think when I watch the film, this is going to be one time, usually I come into a press conference and I say, we didn't do this, and watch the film and say, well, we weren't that bad. Whatever I say to you, and I'm trying to minimize what I say, when I watch the film, I bet you my life it's going to be worse.
Next question will go to Justin Rose.
Hey, Tom, just going off of that effort thing. I mean, I know that you guys had a long laugh, and I know you won't use that as an excuse for that, but did you have any inkling that was coming with this particular group, knowing that they'd gone through the first couple of weeks of the season the way they had?
I really didn't. There's a lot of things that are happening right now. It was an interesting day. We had to get up early because this was the first time we had to get tested on the road. Took some time. We had finals. But I gave them a couple days off too. And we didn't play this week, which I was hoping we would have. But Gonzaga didn't play, and we're up 20. So they didn't play for 12 days or whatever it was. So I'm not in the mood to make any excuses for me. It's my job to get my team ready. They weren't ready. And after I watch the film, I'm going to try to determine why. But it was not one guy or 2 guys. Kind of disappoints me that as soon as things got wrong, there seemed to be a lot more excuses. So we're going to have to work on that. That usually happens if you're reading your press clippings or you think you're better than you are. Listen, guys, I told you there's 2 great teams right now. There's 20 teams that are 30 teams that are anywhere in there. I've said that from day one. We're not the 4th best team in the country necessarily, and we could be there because somebody's got to be there. But I think what we looked at is beating Duke, and probably everybody, their girlfriends, their parents, everybody thought it was a big deal. I didn't. I hope my program's better than that, and I got a lot of respect for Duke. But, was it finals? Was it the press clippings? We worked pretty hard, though. I got to admit, when we did work, guys were focused in. I mean, if I took every play and broke it down to how we were supposed to guard it and what we did, it's mind-boggling. So I'm just going to look at it as, it's going to be a learning moment. But leadership is going to be interesting to see how we all, my 3 captains and me, work this out.
just to quickly follow up with that, you've had games where you guys have had off nights before, but this seemed to be different than that in a way. I mean, how do you decipher between just a bad game, bad situational basketball and what we saw tonight? How do you
Yeah.
differentiate?
I would say that don't feel bad. I'm a pretty much tell it like it is guy. So you don't have to apologize for saying we look inept. We didn't look like we were aggressive. We didn't look like we had a sense of urgency, and we looked like we were too relaxed. So it's okay to say that. I mean, it's, as I said, I'm going to have to learn too. We're going to have, I think everybody's going to have some games. It's not an excuse. It's just a different year. Like I said, it started this morning and it was different, come over here a half hour early and have that, 20 minutes of testing but everybody else got to do the same thing. So it's the same for everybody. We just got to figure out, how to handle it. I don't know, finals, God, we just come off the best semester, maybe in the history of my head coaching deal. So it wasn't like that was all stressful. They got it done, but it's a little challenging right now for me because I'd agree with you. Yeah, politely, you're saying we didn't look at all like a Michigan State basketball team. Forget the shooting. Forget it. Has no bearing on this performance. And then when you think about when it started, I told you, and I'm sure if you talk to Josh, I don't know what he said, but it was the first 30 seconds and it didn't change. That's not like one of my teams. So I got to chalk it up. I got to look at the film. I got to meet with players. I got to see what I can do. We'll get it straightened out. We got a good team. It's got some holes. Joey Hauser was hurt. That hurt us a little bit. Josh Langford was in foul trouble the whole game. And I had a couple guys that I had bad games. And probably me as a coach had a bad game. Next.
We got a few more we'll get through real quick.
Go ahead. I got until I get out of the shower. I'm fine. I'm not bailing.
We'll go to Lindsey Huddleston.
Okay, Coach. Glad to know you're not bailing. Do you think some of this shock value comes because it's the first game of the Big Ten compared to a game that may have dropped later in the season?
Lindsey, I'm acting confused because I am. I'm not hiding from anything. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see the practices were good. The film sessions were good. I mean, this is different. I asked Mike Garland, this is one of those days that I haven't seen here in many, many years. And not because we lost to a team that played really good. And let's make sure, man, I love Chris Collins. I think he's done a hell of a job here. I think he's a very good coach. And his team deserves the credit. But I said to him after, he said a couple of nice things to me. And I said, boy, that didn't look like the standard of the Big Ten. It didn't look like, we did not play. You played to the level we did not. That doesn't happen very often. We've had bad shooting nights. We've had some bad turnover nights. But boy, tonight, we're just going to have to work our way out of it. Is it the COVID season? Is it finals? Is it, there can be a million excuses, and maybe some of them are valid, but it doesn't matter because everybody else got the same thing. So we're just gonna have to straighten it out.
I get it. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Go to Jack Ebling.
Tom, if you combine the accuracy from the field, 3-point range, and the line, the difference is more than 69%. You're more concerned with the defense on Boo Buie or with the lack of second chance points?
Jack, the second chance points are effort related too. I'm more disappointed in the effort, and that's kind of calling your team out. But, we've shot 29% and won a game.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme nor reason for that. We took some bad shots, but we had some great, how many layups we missed in the first 5 minutes? At halftime, we had missed 6 layups. 6 layups. That's 12 points. What we down, 13?
Yeah.
6 layups. I mean, one of my best players missed 3 of them. And so, you know, I don't look at that the same way. I don't blame you guys for looking at it because everybody looks at offense and everybody thinks I look at defense. I don't even look at the defense. I look at the effort related to what they were supposed to do and did we do our job? Well, the first job that wasn't done was by the head coach because his job is to make sure a team is ready to play. And then the individuals within that group have to make sure they do their job. So I got to look at myself and say, my team wasn't ready to play. And that's my job. So I got to do my job. They got to do their job. We'll work it out.
Next question is from Brendan Quinn.
Tom, I got two for you if you're all right. Is there any concern that Rocket is maybe swimming a little bit? And do you worry at all that maybe him trying to do what he's doing is affecting his defense at all?
You know, nobody's given Rocket more credit than me in the last 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And, you know, he's a sophomore. I've got juniors that had worse nights than him. So, no, I don't look at that stuff. You know, swimming, he took a couple bad shots, but like you said, what's that got to do with your defense? And he's been a very good defender. You know, it wasn't all him. I mean, Bowie didn't get all his points on him. But I had two guys. I thought Kithier played pretty good. Malik Hall played okay. Foster Lawyer played pretty good. But I didn't have many other guys that played very good. And you're not going to win a Big Ten game if you don't have, you know, a lot of your key people. I don't care how much depth you have. So I don't really think it's that. I think what you learn this day and age, if people don't have success, how do they handle it? And it's getting harder to figure out how they handle it. And we're going to figure it out. Got a good team, like I said. It wasn't like there was a bunch of holes. The holes were we didn't play hard enough. And that doesn't happen very often, and it could be a million reasons. And that's what's going to be the hardest. Maybe my guys, you know, we're talking about having parents up for Christmas, you know, I mean, there's so many things out there right now that maybe that was it. So maybe in fairness to them, I should understand that. So I'll meet with them, talk to them, figure it out, watch the film. But I don't look at our offensive woes. You know, we came into the game shooting 48, 36 from the three, 77 from the line. We came into the game one of the worst points allowed, bottom half of field goal percentage defense, bottom half of three-point percentage defense. That's our problem. We did not guard anybody, so then we didn't run as good. I don't even know what the rebound totals were, you know, 33 to 32. But I guess when you shoot what we shot, there's more rebounds for them to get. We still got 11 offensive boards, not bad. But we just didn't guard. I can't say it any bit better.
And late game, there was like 2 minutes left or whatever. Maybe, you know, you were down double digits, but it wasn't totally out of reach, and you know, made some substitutions that you went a little deeper into your bench. I didn't know if that was you wanting guys to have to kind of sit there and watch the end of it, or if there was anything.
Yeah, you know, we got an agreement. I mean, if you don't play good, no problem. You turn the ball over, don't like it, but no problem. You miss shots, no problem. You don't want to give the effort that is needed to play at this level, it's a problem. So I didn't want to keep people in there, and I didn't give up on the game. I thought a couple of those guys deserves some opportunities, but more importantly, I'm not going to condone the kind of play we had tonight by leaving guys in there, if that makes any sense.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
All right, we have two final questions. We'll go to Chris Solari and wrap up with Fred Human. Chris?
Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit kind of what Jack said about Bowie in particular, especially with what he did here last year. I mean, is there a frustration point with that, knowing that these guys have seen him and what he has done to this team before?
Yeah. I think he got 26 last year, right? So we held him to 30 this year. And I thought he played really good. I thought he played within himself. I seen him play some games where he got a little wild. I thought he took all but maybe one or two good shots, and I heard Chris getting on him about those. I thought he did a pretty good job. That is frustrating because you'd want somebody to take the bull by the horns, which I've had before, but nobody rose up on that. And, I did think we had a pretty good game plan. I really did. We just didn't execute it at all. And that's all I can tell you on that. But I don't know.
You also mentioned about the boards in particular. It seemed like in the first half, Foster had, I think, 4 for you guys, and that was the high mark. But out of the break, it seemed like there was a little more of a concerted effort from you guys to go and crash a little bit more. Do you feel like
second half, Malik got 4 offensive, but you're right about Foster. I mean, he gets 5 rebounds for the game. Joey had 2, and Josh had 2, and Aaron had 3, and we didn't. Those are all effort-related stats. Those are what we're usually really good at. And tonight, we were awful at them. And they kind of all fit together. Aaron said something good at halftime. We got to do what this program does. We got to defend, rebound, and run. I told him that in the last 2 minutes when Brendan asked me why. I said, you can talk it, but you got to do it. And we didn't do it tonight. So, no quarterback controversy. I think I'm going to keep Wentz and not worry about the $100 million. I'm just going to try to get my team better.
We'll wrap up with Fred Human. Fred?
Fred, it's your fault. Since you started working again, we're 0-1. So now I finally found the reason that I can use on why we didn't play as good. Didn't think it was funny, huh, Fred?
He's muted. Fred, you're muted.
Why would that surprise me?
I thought you could hear me earlier. Do you hear me?
We hear you now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was laughing in the background. Hey, every time you lose a game, everyone's looking for reasons, and sometimes you just get punched in the gut. Do you think with everything going so smoothly so far and winning every game that, never mind the press clippings, that the team got a little too comfortable in their own skin?
I don't think it went smoothly. If you would have saw our morning, or if you would have saw finals, there's nothing smooth right now. We're having discussions on parents and whether we're going to be able to let the parents into the game, and nothing's smooth, guys. But nothing's been smooth since the start. And we've played, better. Now, we have had a problem defensively, and yet you look at some of those games, it's finishing. We're 28 up on Notre Dame and 16 up with 2 minutes left, and we give them 3 threes. We give Oakland and Detroit 3 threes at the end. We gave Duke, they hit 2 threes in the last 13 seconds. So that changes those games a little bit and changes the, we played pretty good defense in most of those games, but it changes the shooting percentages and all that. But, in all honesty, a couple of those teams took tough shots. These were open shots. The guy, Williams at Oakland, he made tough shots. There were times I said that was great, D, and he just made the shot. Tonight, I didn't think anybody made a tough shot. I thought they made open shots. And like I said, it was the coverages that, whether we were going to trail ball screens or step up on them or switch them, what we were going to do, we just, we looked out of sync. And I don't I have not seen any complacency as far as thinking we're better than we are. But, I don't know what these kids, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know what's happening. And we're 6-1, we're, a tough loss, bad loss to a team that I think is going to win some games. And as disappointed as I am with our effort-related items, I'm also very appreciative on how well Northwestern played, not only offensively but defensively, and I think that was the difference in the game. So, yeah, there is punches in the gut. This was one that's going to last because it was something I'm not used to seeing. But this whole year is something I'm not used to seeing. So I just got to get back to work, and we'll do our job and get ready for Christmas Day.